on when we did the blood test for the baby, we found out that she has a very rare genetic condition called inversion, deletion, and duplication of chromosome 8p. Till today, like I am suffering anxiety and depression, and then it was really different because we were not sure about Daxa's condition. Kam Firta Zanu was actually healing for me, and I think I was able to be a better mother than being a stay-at-home mom. Most amazing part of this NDIS support is they not only care about people with disability, but us as parents. They care about us as parents who is raising a disabled child.
Hello and namaste everyone. I'm your host Shristi. Welcome back to my podcast, The Struggle is Real. In this season, we have been talking about challenges and rewards of motherhood. Today, I'm delighted to have an inspiring and wonderful woman, Ansu Aryal Khanal, as a guest in my podcast. I've had a pleasure of knowing her for a short period of time, but whatsoever I have known her, I've always admired her as a remarkable mother and an incredible and strong woman. In today's episode, we have discussed about her pregnancy journey, postpartum depression, mom guilt, a very rare condition in her child, and how NDIS supports a child with these conditions. Let's get started. Thank you for coming to my podcast. How are you today?
Thank you for inviting. I'm very well, very nervous and excited at the same time.
Me too. किनभने मैले यो podcast start गर्दाखेरि नै हैन I had a list of people in my mind, 7 people जति थियो है. त्यसमा you are on the top because
thank you.
मैले तपाईलाई त्यस्तो पर्सनली धेरै नचिने पनि whatever I have heard about you हैन, it's quite inspiring हैन, and I think people should know, and by the end of this podcast they'll be convinced why I'm inspired by you है. तपाईको background को बारेमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि let's talk about how did you end up landing to Australia, because from Nepal, US, and then US to Australia, and यसको बारेमा अलिकति ब्रिफमा भनिदिनुस् न.
So I never planned to come to Australia. I wanted to go to US because my elder brother is there with his family, and he still is. And I've always been very close-knit with my brother, so I wanted to go to same school, wanted to do the same course as he did, right? So I just went to US, wanted to settle down there, just have my life in US. But what happened was one of our common relatives, they just connected I and Darshan over Facebook. So we just started to having Facebook chat, and then it just converted into phone calls. It just converted into whole night of phone calls, 16 hours a day.
Oh my God.
So we just fell in love, and we decided to go back home, and we got married. And then I had to go back to the US to finish my studies. I went back, and in 1 year, we just processed our visa, and I came to Australia.
So you were in US, and then you came back Nepal to get married, and then went back
to US.
And at that time, Darshan Dai saying?
No, we applied for his visa for the US, but he didn't get one.
Okay.
So he had to come back to Australia. So we were separate for 1 more year after we got married.
So it was destined to be in Australia.
Oh, yes, it was.
Nice. So at the moment, you are a full-time working mom, plus you've got a side hustle. So it's quite challenging, I can say that, being a mom myself. So working full-time, do you have to go to office 5 days a week, or?
I usually go to office 5 days a week. Sometimes I work from home maybe 1 or 2 days a week.
So you are doing this, I think it's a leadership position. It's quite challenging. So how do you manage all these things?
I would say, as much as I love my personal life, being with my family and kids, I love my career as well. I'm very much career focused, this is where I always wanted to be. This is what I always wanted to do, right? Be a leader, be a manager. So I quite enjoy it, but there are challenges, of course, being a mom, being there for your kid, for your family, and having a challenging role as a manager. So it's quite challenging, and I think it's very exciting for me. I can learn, and I try to manage both. And about side hustle, I won't say it's a side hustle. It was never planned. It just happened. I was always into DIYs, creating craft, and I always used to put that personal touch to any gifts I would make for my family and friends. So just like I started making like some personalized gifts for my family and friends. And actually I came out, like I advertised something I created was a personalized dummy chain for kids.
Oh, yeah.
And it was actually inspired by Daxa. Like when I had her, I was just looking for something like I could personalize under her name, and I just came up with the idea of like creating dummy chains for
So
kids.
when did you started this business?
2020, like after I had Daxa, yes.
Okay, so Daksha, you have her,
No, 2019.
19,
She was
so
born in 2019. Yeah.
Okay, I think after being a mom, everyone like हुन्छ नि एउटा न एउटा के कुराले spark गर्छ जस्तो
Yes.
लाग्छ कि मलाई.
Yeah, totally my inspiration was my daughter.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, and then you bake yummy cakes as well,
I
right?
try.
Because I'm your customer as well in Summer's first birthday, and everyone was asking like it was so good looking and it was so tasty as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wants to have a celebration cake or personalized gift, please contact her. I'll leave a.
It's more of a passion than business for
Yeah.
me, like it's something where I can just like focus on, and like when I'm stressed or anxious, like that's something like I can do, and I never get stressed, I never get tired. That's the main reason like I love baking and like doing those cakes for my
It's so
loved
important
ones.
to have like a side passion or interest,
Oh,
right? It helps you
100%.
to keep you sane at
Oh,
times.
yeah.
Okay? Right. So before we jump into pregnancy journey, firstly, I just want to thank you, because every pregnancy journey is, I think it's very personal to everyone. So sharing this journey is something very personal, and sharing your experience that can be inspiring to other person and can be informative is more awesome. So I'll just start. So was it a planned pregnancy or unplanned
Not at all.
pregnancy?
Not at all. It was not planned. We had
Okay.
no idea that was going to happen.
Okay, so that means you never did a prenatal test or
Never did.
anything. Okay, so how did you break the news? Like, how did you come to do
So
this?
we had no idea that it was going to happen that month. And I usually, like I get my big P like every 26 to 27 days. Like my cycle is like always stable. So that month I was just late for like 2 days, and I started to freak out because that's not normally me. Like it never ever happens. So then I told my husband like, like I'm just delayed, like late for my period. And he was like, maybe like, some issue, like you're just overthinking. So one day, like I was just having that hunch, like something is different. Like I'm feeling some like different emotion.
Intuition.
Yeah, intuition. So on my way back to work, like from work, I went to this chemist and I bought a like pregnancy test kit, and I was so sure that I am not pregnant. I picked the cheapest one from the store because I didn't want to spend that money to like buy something which I'm sure about.
Yeah.
So I went home. Darshan was at work, so I went home. I did my test, and I just like kept the like strip there, and then started to see that faint line, which just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And I was like, what? Like, it was like shock or a surprise. Like I can't say like what kind of emotion I was feeling then. And I called him. He was on his way back home, and I told him like I did the test and it's showing positive. And he was like, nah.
That can't be true.
Like it can't be true, like not possible. Then I asked him like, can you go get a nice like test kit, an expensive one, like which we can rely on? So he got this, the digital one.
Clear blue.
Yeah, like clear blue. So he bought that one, and we did the test again. And after that, it showed like I'm 3 to 5 weeks pregnant. And it was like we were actually starting to talk about planning like in few months, but we were not. We thought we were not ready for it, right? But when that showed, like we were just ready. Like we were like we wanted that. Like it was like everything for us. So yeah, that's how it started.
Oh, that's nice, because most of them, especially abroad, most of them say that they plan and they do it because हुन्छ नि, they don't maybe finance also plays important roles in
does.
most of the people's life, but then when it happens, it comes with a bang, right?
It does, like destiny, it's all
Yeah.
written. That's what I believe.
True. Like, did you had any like symptoms or anything that different because period and pregnancy symptom quite similar, so it's
Yeah.
very confusing. So did you get anything different like pregnancy now?
I had cramps, like the period cramps, just so like I had it for like few weeks. Apart from that, it was quite smooth. Like I didn't have like morning sickness or anything as such. So it was quite smooth for me. Like I didn't have any other symptoms. Like it was just normal.
Okay. So you did your test and everything, and after you figure out by yourself, and how was your journey, pregnancy journey? Did you had any challenges? How did it go?
When that happened, we went to the doctors and we did the blood test, like to just get that formal medical answer, right? त्यसपछि it was pretty normal, like, regular pregnancy, like just cramps and stuff. Like I was just feeling bloated at times. So त्यति नै भयो, and I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant. So,
Me too.
Okay. I think that's normal. Like,
Very
that's
common.
normal, like, very common.
Yeah.
And I had it, but it was pretty manageable, like with diet, exercise, and I was taking insulin as well.
Okay.
And actually, that helped me to lose weight. So, I was 10 kgs less than my pre-pregnancy weight when I had my baby.
Oh my God. That's
Because I was just like focusing on portion control, exercise, सबै कुराहरु, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it was very helpful.
तर हामीलाई कस्तो अर्को डिफ्रेन्ट काइन्ड अफ मोटिभेसन हुन्छ है, किनभने हामी त्यो भन्दा अगाडि कति डायट गर्न ट्राई गरेर हुन्छ, बट वी वर नेभर सिरियस अबाउट इट. फर मी एज वेल सिमिलर केस है. अनि त्यहाँ जेस्टेशनल डायबिटिज देखाउने बित्तिकै ओके आई निड टु गो फर अ वक, हुन्छ नि, म 2 डाडु मात्र खाना खान्छु, म यो तरकारी खान्छु, म यो फिज ड्रिङ्क खाँदिनँ. इट्स हुन्छ नि
100% like आलु लो क्यालोरी आलु, राइस लो क्यालोरी राइस, होइन. अनि अफिसमा हुँदाखेरि आई युज टु हेभ माई लन्च इन माई डेस्क एन्ड 45 minutes lunch break. I used to just walk around.
Same.
After dinner, like I used to like go for a walk, like like it was like I was just into it. तर अब अहिले I'm still overweight, but like I just don't even.
You would never do for yourself,
don't do it for yourself.
Same, same with me. But like you said, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि हाम्रो weight पनि maintain भयो, which is good के.
Yes.
है.
त्यो चाहिँ बेस्ट, लाइक पर्क नै मेरो लागि चाहिँ. मेरो वेट त्यति कहिले पनि लाइफमा भएकै छैन होला क्या. आई वाज इन भेरी ग्रेट सेप.
हो, बिकज एज सुन एज मेरो पनि जिटिटी छ भन्ने थाहा हुने बित्तिकै होइन, आफ्टर कति विक्सको म फेरि टेस्ट गर्न जाँदाखेरि मेरो 2 kg डाउन के. अनि बिकज अब हाम्रो मेरो मम्मी त यहाँ हुनुहुन्थ्यो, सो दे वर एक्सपेक्टिङ प्रेग्नेन्ट भएपछि त वेट गेन हुनुपर्छ टाइपको एउटा हुन्छ नि, 2 जनाको खाना खानुपर्छ एउटा कन्सेप्ट छ. अनि बट द्याट वाज नथिङ लाइक द्याट होइन. इट वाज क्वाइट डिफरेन्ट इन द फ्याक्ट्स है. अनि त्यसपछि तपाईँको एनआइपिटी टेस्टहरू लाइक एभ्रिथिङ.
NIPT test, we didn't do it. We just did a normal blood scan and it was perfectly normal. Yes, we didn't do one. We didn't do the NIPT.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah, we did because हाम्रो त्यो डक्टरले नै सजेस्टेड है we have to do भनेर. सो हामीलाई त्यस्तो खासै आइडिया त थिएन यो गर्नुपर्छ त्यो गर्नु पर्दैन भनेर. तर since she said, we just went whatever they said.
Yeah, our doctor was just like, this is optional. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's why we thought like, let's not do it.
Yeah.
So we didn't do
and I think NIPT is out of pocket as well.
Yes, it
we
is.
could know the gender as well.
Oh yes.
त्यसमा है.
Yes.
अनि we were first baby भएको भएर we were excited to gender as well. तर focus the gender मा थिएन obviously, but still let's do since doctor insisted us भनेर we did it. So yeah, that was it. So was there any kind of challenges you faced during like your pregnancy journey or like physically, emotionally?
There were like lots of ups, lots of downs, like lots of challenges and lots of beautiful moments as well. So I was maybe around 18 to 20 weeks during my pregnancy when we had this midwife visit after one of my scans, right? So when we went to that appointment, our midwife like told us that, there's something showing in the scan. And apparently like Daxa's head, like the left ventricle, left side of her head brain was a little dilated, which means like it's a little bigger than, the other side. So that came as quite a shock to us, but they just like kind of mentioned us like that can be normal, that can be normal or treatable, like they can just like suck out that extra fluid out and should be normal. But they also suggested we need to go see the specialist at one of the specialist hospitals. So the next day we went to the specialist hospital where we did a scan again, and we found out something new where they told us that a part of her brain was missing. So it was quite a shock. So that part of her brain is called corpus callosum. It's a very thin line between like your left and right side of your brain, and that thin line helps every human being to communicate between left and right side of your brain. So that was missing. So that term is called agenesis of corpus callosum. So we found out that that was missing. And it was very unexpected, and we were just in like total shock, right? Till date, like, you know, we call that day like blackest day of our life. So we didn't know how to respond. Like, we didn't even cry, we didn't say anything, we were just quiet on our way back home, just in like complete shock. So that's what we found out. And there was no turning back. Like, you know, we really wanted this baby. Like, we really felt blessed because, you know, like, we were having a baby. Like, you know, we were the chosen ones, like, to bring this baby to the world. So there was no turning back. We still decided, you know, like, we gotta do what we need to do. You know, it's our destiny, it's our baby's destiny. And, you know, at the top of our head, like, we were just maybe hopeful, you know, like, we were in denial as well, like, you know, यो त हुनै सक्दैन, you know, like, यो अब यहाँ स्क्यानमा देखाउँछ, पछि गएर सबै नर्मल हुन्छ, त्यस्तो हुँदैन भने जस्तो पनि अलिकति हुन्छ नि, kind of we were in very much denial. And so we went home, we progressed through the pregnancy, and later on when we did the blood test for the baby, we found out that she has a very rare genetic condition called inversion, deletion, and duplication of chromosome 8p. So this is
is it a different one from what you said before?
So this genetic condition caused that absence of corpus callosum.
Okay.
So that
It's
was one
linked.
of the reason, like, yeah, because she has that genetic condition. And this genetic condition is so rare that there are like only few hundred of people all around the world with this condition. And that was another shock for us.
Yeah.
So and we didn't know like how it would affect her, you know, like apparently this condition attacks each and every cell of your body. So we didn't know like how it's going to affect her physically, mentally, intellectually, like anything could have happened. So yeah, that was it.
Did they provide you some certain information like this would affect this? I mean, this would be the challenges later on or something?
Since this is such a rare condition, doctors do not have a lot of information about it. Okay. There's not much research done. There's not much written about it. The only way we could find out was this Facebook group. A few years, maybe 10 years back, one of the little girls in US, like she was diagnosed with the same condition, and her mom, like she tried to find some information about the condition. She didn't find anything. That's where she built this foundation called 8P Foundation, where she started like gathering like everyone from all around the world, like the parents, like with the similar condition, like kids, right? And that's where she actually initiated all this research and all the programs, fundings and everything. Now, like we have this Facebook group, like where there are all parents from all around the world, and the only way like we learn more about this condition is like by each other's experience.
They're still doing researches,
still researching. So like we just discuss about, you know, like what their kids are like up to now, like, and it's different. Some are affected severely, some have just like mild condition, so it varies, like, you know, it's very different from one another.
Yeah. So after you came to know about this condition at that time, did you tell anyone about it, like your close friends or family, or you decided to wait until it's because of course you don't want to believe it at that time? I'm sure.
Like I said, even after having Daxa, like maybe for 1 year, we were still in denial. Like we were like, you know, we didn't want to accept it. We didn't want to share it with anyone because we thought, you know, what if like everything like nothing, everything goes well, we don't have to tell it to anyone. True. Because no one is gonna like
no
do
point
nothing,
actually,
you know, right? There's no point. And we were just like, you know, being hopeful as well, like trying to think in a more positive way. So we just shared with my sister and my in-laws, like they knew about it. And they were there to support us. Apart from that, no one else knew about it. So we just like proceeded normally with the pregnancy, you know, with everything. It was just like as normal as it could be.
Yeah. So if you would actually have done that NIPT test or that test in week 13 or something, would you be able to know about this, or it would only be known in the scan
We would
only?
have been able to know about it if I had done the NIPT test. And till date, I feel so thankful that I didn't do that test. Because
True.
like there was no way like we could
Yeah.
have changed our decision. There was no way we could have gone back to, you know, like making any other decision than bringing her to our life. So I'm very thankful because that saved us from like few more weeks of like no stress, like, you know, just
True.
living a normal pregnancy phase. So I'm really thankful. Like I suggest people to do it. I'm not saying like don't do it,
of course.
but in my case, like I just feel blessed that we didn't do that.
Yeah, because it would put you in more confusion maybe.
Yeah.
When you have more options, there's more confusion.
Exactly.
Because I remember when I did my NIPT test, they said like, if there is something wrong, we'll call you and we'll send you for the counseling.
Yeah.
And anyway, every scan was I used to feel scared. So, as a mom, I think
And too much information is very scary. Like, you know, nowadays there's like too much information.
it's just in your fingertips, and this you start to Google it, and then you get more stressed about
Exactly.
it.
So I'm very thankful that we didn't do that because we didn't know about it. That didn't happen. You know, like
Yeah.
we just had a normal, like, you know, happy phase of our pregnancy till like we found out that she has a condition
Yeah.
later on.
Okay, so let's go to a postpartum journey from here, right? So postpartum, it was a normal or C-section?
It was C-section. Since it was a gestational diabetes, they wanted to induce
How many
me.
weeks?
Just a week before, like 39th week, like I was like scheduled to do my they would induce the baby. So we went to the hospital a day before and they just gave me medication and tried to induce the baby, and my cervix was not opening at all. So next day they tried everything, but still my cervix was not opening. I was just getting cramps, you know. I was kind of getting contraction, but it was not a real contraction. I was in pain like for 24 hours, like I was getting it every 5 minutes, but my cervix was not opening. So for 2 days it was like that, and third day I was so tired the doctor just like put me on rest because even if I would just go into labor, like I could not have done it because I was very weak because of all
So no energy.
Yes. So the fourth day they just like broke my water and put me into this hormone, like, you know, that would give me contraction. My contractions started like every few minutes and it was really bad. And eventually Daxa's heartbeat, it started to go up. So they just decided we just need to take you to the operation theater and do the C-section.
Yeah, and how long did it take for you to recover?
It was pretty easy for me, like, you know, in 10 days after giving birth, like I was like walking, going to malls. So it was pretty good. Like,
Oh, you are going out of the house already in 10 days?
In 10 days, I was out.
That's pretty fast recovery
To grab
there.
a cup of coffee, yes. It was really fast. Like I recovered really fast.
Yeah. Since you expected these rare conditions in Daxa, is that
Daxa.
Daxa, right? So how was your first-hand experience when you hold her, you know, after you had her, you and Dashandai?
It was surreal, like, you know. I didn't cry because, you know, like being a mom, like you feel your baby for 9 months. So I think we are like mentally ready. We know that, right?
That's how
But
God prepares us.
Yeah. But for men, it's different.
Yeah.
So he was in tears, like, you know, like by the time like she was out and she started crying. And that moment, like I can't express in words, you know, like it felt like our whole life is changed now. Like it's become more beautiful because we have our own baby girl in our hand, you know. Like it was everything. That moment was everything.
Yeah. So how long did you actually take a mat leave?
I was supposed to take 1 year, but I went back to work in 5 months.
So you chose to?
I chose to. Can I talk about a little bit of mom guilt?
Yeah, of course.
So, I think, you know, like I started to get like all the postpartum blues and anxiety.
That's where I was coming.
Yes. And till today, like I am suffering anxiety and depression. And then it was really different because we were not sure about Daxa's condition, and we had not shared anything with anyone in the family. And every single day we would think like, what would happen next? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, is she gonna do everything as other people, like other kids of her age? Like, what's gonna happen? How is she gonna suffer, right? So those kind of questions that would always hit my mind, like I would always think about it, and I was really stressed and really depressed. So my husband then, like, I just want to give a big shout out to him because he stood up then for me, because he figured out that I was drowning in like depression and anxiety, and I'm an overthinker like naturally. So he just stood up and he said like, you are going to go back to work, because I actually needed that for my mental well-being. And that's when he just gave up his career, he gave up everything, and he became a stay-at-home dad. And I went back to work like in five months.
God, that's like hands off for you as well, getting ready to go back to work at 5 months, and also for Darshandai, who actually like gave up the career and supported you, understanding your condition. Right? That's a very big decision.
For me, like, it was much needed decision, because if I hadn't got back to work, I could not have taken care of her like in a way that she deserves, right? Because I was drowning myself. But on the other hand, this mom guilt thing, it never leaves you. Like, I just felt so guilty. Like, I would cry every day because I was leaving her and I went back to work. But someone had to go back to work and bring food to the table. And understanding my mental health and the need for me to go out, like, my husband just took over everything and just he said like, you are gonna go out, like, you need that.
No, because what I felt was मेरो 9-month pregnancy maternity leave ma pani हैन, I didn't know anything के बाहिर के भइराछ. I just know about my baby's food, my baby's poop, he sleeps, that's all. कोही मान्छे अब भेट्न आउँछ नि हैन सुत्केरी टाइममा, I didn't know what to talk. TV मा के चलिरहेछ केही थाहा छैन, बाहिर के चलिरहेछ केही थाहा छैन. When I got back to work, it took me like full 1 month I think to actually recover के where I was like left things हैन. यस्तो ब्ल्याङ्क मान्छेले कुरा गर्दाखेरि I don't know what to interact because I have no clue के त्यो 9-month ग्यापले त्यस्तो डिफरेन्स बनाउँदो रहेछ के.
एकदमै डिफरेन्स चाहिँ हुँदो रहेछ के. तिमीले भने जस्तो त्यो कन्भर्सेसन खाली बेबी रिलेटेड मात्र हुन्छ हैन.
यो खायो, यस्तो पुप गर्यो, यति आवर्स सुत्यो, त्यो बाइक यु डोन्ट नो व्हाट टु टक.
बेबी कति सुत्छे, दुध कति एमएल हुन्छ नि, सबै कुरा कति चोरी डायपर चेन्ज, एभ्रीथिङ. त्यो कन्भर्सेसनको टपिक नै चेन्ज हुन्छ क्या.
अनि when people are talking about different things, यस्तो डम फिल हुने हैन. अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ अनि मेरो म्यानेजरले पनि लाइक माई म्यानेजर चाहिँ लेडी हुनुहुन्छ हैन. सो सी अल्सो त्यति बेला चाहिँ सी सेड आई नो सृष्टि यु आर कमिङ ब्याक टु वर्क, द्याट मिन्स यु आर सेन्डिङ अ चाइल्ड टु daycare, so that means you are earning here and paying there, but trust me, it'll make sense भनेर भनेको थियो कि. and which is true as well. त्यो gap, I mean सबैजनाले लिन पनि मिल्छ, नलिन पनि मिल्छ ग्याप हैन, नेसेसरी पनि हुँदैन. तर मेरो लागि चाहिँ I think it was good. अझ ढिला गरे पनि it would be hard for me जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई.
I think to each their own हैन. अब कसैलाई जस्तो मेरो लागि चाहिँ काममा फिर्ता जानु was actually healing for me, and I think I was able to be a better mother than like being a stay-at-home mom, because I was fresh, like I was going out, I was doing my work, which I'm always passionate about, right? And in the meantime I was getting back home fresh, and I was giving that attention, that care to my kid. And I actually feel blessed because I had a husband like who understood that, and he just stood up for me and little one. So yeah.
So when people of in Nepal especially knows about that, like you were actually working and your husband was actually looking after Daksha, what kind of feedback do you got?
See, people always talk, right? And especially about our culture, people are not worried about someone else's problem, but they always have opinion. They have their own point of view, and they want to tell people like their own point of view. I think I'm far away from that, like भन्नेले भनिरहन्छ, like just listen to it and forget about it. Yes, there were comments made, like on like why he's not working or, like what's happening, like, but I think we made a very practical decision. Back then, I was the one with the better income source, and I was the one who needed that like way out from my mental health, my anxiety and my depression. And we needed to bring food to the table. We needed to be there for our girl, because my in-laws and my parents, they could not come during my postpartum. In a way, like they were working people, and in other way, like we also didn't want anyone to come because of all the uncertain, like, feelings of her condition. So we didn't want anyone to come and know about it yet. So people, like, they all
have their own judgmental
they say what they
opinions.
want to say, but we just, like, stood by with each other and just did whatever was good for our family.
Who would know better than yourself
exactly
what works
100%.
rather than 1 year someone like you felt it was very similar to other kids. So did you do anything differently, do you think, like, to take care of Daksha?
The thing is, like first few months, like everything was like, just regular. Like she was like eating, sleeping, pooping, just crying and stuff, right? But the difference we started to see was she did not latch. So at first, how midwives come and they just hound you, like to try and latch, like breastfeed your baby. Like I was hounded by midwives as well. And then we didn't know why she was not latching. It was not because, like, she didn't like to latch. It was because she was born with a very low muscle turn. That's why she was not able to latch and swallow, because her muscles were too weak that she could not do that. So we didn't understand that in the beginning, right? And like just tried to, like, we just kept trying and trying. But later, like, I was like, no, I'm just gonna pump and feed my baby. So that's what we did. And the other challenges was, like, the constant classification from people, like, oh, roll over garyo or crawl garyo, like 6 months bhayo, like why she's not sitting straight, because like she has a low muscle tone. She still cannot sit straight. Like she sits straight for a few minutes and then she just has to like lie back down, or like, So constant classification, like people asking questions, and after a few months, people started to see like a difference.
Notice.
Like, they start to notice, and it just like shocks me. Like few people, like, who I hadn't spoken for years, like reach out to me, asking, like, is everything okay? Like, and I'm like, why do you need to know? Like, I haven't spoken with you like for last 10 years. So like that, those were challenging, like, to just kind of having to keep answering to those people, like, just to entertain those people, those kind of questions. Apart from that, it was like, for me, it's my first baby. It's very normal as it's for you or anyone else, because being a parent is challenging.
It is.
Doesn't matter if you have a child with a condition or not. It's challenging. And it has its own beauty as well. Like, she's our world. Like, as any other parent, we want to give her best out of everything. Like, we want to take care of her and give her everything that's best for her, that will help her to succeed, to face this world. So it was completely normal for us. Like, we were not doing anything special, like, or, raising a special girl or something like that.
I'm sure while different notice गरेपछि they have more questions, so they reached out to you. Do you think they would reach out to you if there was no conditions?
No.
After
like
that long gaps?
Few people, they would never. Like, like I said, we didn't even say hi to each other for like maybe 10 years. And I have had like a couple of people like just reach out because they were just curious. Like, people are just curious of other people's
want to know
life.
the story.
They just want story.
So interested. Yeah, because even like हाम्रो बेबीजको लागि पनि मेरो बाबुले 13 मन्थसम्म क्रल गरेको थिएन, लाइक आई हेभ सेड बिफोर एज वेल. अनि फोटोजहरूमा त देख्छ नि त बसिरहेको. अनि मेबी यो बेबी इज ओभरवेट, द्याट्स वाइ हि इज नट क्रलिङ. अब ऱ्यान्डमली के दे डोन्ट नो एनी सेड्युल, उसको केही थाहा छैन, कति खान्छ के खान्छ थाहा छैन. अब ऱ्यान्डम कमेन्ट्सहरू के. अनि आफूलाई प्रेसर नभए पनि, किन गरेन भनेर फिल नभए पनि अरूले भन्दा should I be concerned? Like म डक्टरको जानुपर्ने हो कि क्या हो त्यो एक्स्ट्रा स्ट्रेस हुने के
एकदमै हुन्छ क्या. जस्तो अब हाम्रो केसमा चाहिँ दक्सु she has a very low muscle tone, right? And it's like getting stronger and stronger, but she's got lots of challenges out there. So until like few months back, she was still eating like puree food. Like she can't chew her food yet. She doesn't know that you have to chew and you have to swallow your food. But now since she's back home, like she's started mash food. We don't have to make it puree, so she graduated from puree food. So you know, like people would like just judge that, like they would like if you like, you know, keep on doing it, like bani bigrincha, like you know, like easy खाना सब भइरहेछ उसलाई, किन उसले अब अर्को चु गर्न खोज्छ त होइन. अब त्यो बच्चाको बानी बिग्रिन्छ, भोकै राख्नु 2-4 घण्टा आफै खान्छ. अनि I struggled you know, explaining people like, you know, that's not the case because like she can't, like we know she can't, like you know, अरू बच्चामा हुन्छ होला हैन, कसैमा हुन्छ होला, तर त्यो उसमा एप्लिकेबलै हुँदैन हैन. त्यस्तो कुराहरु चाहिँ अब एकदम धेरै हुने के कति कुराहरु
त्यो त सबैजनाले फेरि we wouldn't explain the whole condition and scenario कति चोटी रिपिट गरेर बस्नु हैन.
And we were not comfortable to share with everyone because we didn't think it was needed anyway. Like we shared with our like close knit friends, our families who supported us throughout, who were there for us, you know, they never judged us and they never made me feel like special or Daxa special. They just treated us normal. And I'm good enough like with those people around me. Like we didn't need to answer or like explain anything to anyone.
Yeah. So gradually Daksha grow up हुँदै जाँदाखेरि हैन, उसको day to day daily basis को activities हरुमा like what kind of different support she needed, do you think?
So as you are a mom, you know, like there are challenges,
of
right?
Course.
Like parenting comes with lots
with every milestone.
Lots of challenges and lots of beautiful moments, right? And as any other parent, like our life is same, like lots of challenges, lots of beautiful moments, you know, lots of happiness.
Actually challenges comes with the rewards as well.
Exactly. So it's been pretty rewarding journey. You know, I know it took us time to process everything, you know, and to bring it out to the world and to start having this kind of conversation openly. But the thing is, like I said, like it's our first baby. That's the only way we know how to raise a child. I don't know any other way, right? So challenges, bhandakari aba feeding, of course, like you know, like we just take these things very like for granted. Like you know, a kid, like a baby is born and they start crawling, they start eating, we just take it very for granted, right? But in our case, in Daxa's case, like I realized, like I got an opportunity to reflect on how difficult these things are. Like, you know, your brain needs to communicate with each other for you to do any action. So that's what we kind of like started to learn. Like everything that we take for granted, it takes effort, like it's a lot of work. So challenges, of course, like you know, we had to take her to therapies like every single day. And I also you know, I like to say I think it's similar to any other parent, because we take Daxa to therapies 5 days a week, and other parents take their children to swimming lessons or like music lesson or like whatever, like you know. So I think it's just different but same
different
struggle.
Reason but then same struggle.
It's the same struggle. So I don't see there's any difference on how we are raising her. Of course, like she has got like extra needs. She needs extra care and extra support, like in certain things to learn. She takes time to learn more, learn things than her peers. But yeah, it is what it is. Like,
is there any like a government help or support that you receive for her, or it's all out of pocket?
Yes, we are very fortunate. and I'm very thankful that she was born here, where she gets all the required support, everything that she needs to learn what she needs to learn, to do what she needs to do. So she gets a support from the agency called NDIS. So we have to reach out to the agency, there is a middleman between. There are companies who help us assess, apply for that NDIS insurance, and they come and assess your child, and they grant us funding as per the need. Let's say her therapies, everything is covered by that funding. Whichever equipment she needs, like for her standing, for her walking, her pram, maybe a wheelchair, there's a chair for her to take bath because she can't stand, right? So we have a chair at our bathroom, that's funded. And we didn't know initially, but even her diapers, her toothbrush, her cutleries, it covers it all.
Okay.
So it's great. It's a big support because we could not have done it without that support. It's so expensive out here, but we don't have to worry about anything regarding the finances. Everything is covered.
So is it a part of insurance? Or?
It's called NDIS. It's called National Disability Insurance Services. So that's for the people with disability. And they are quite good. They send therapists for assessment, and they just make a decision on what is needed, and then they just give us fundings. And the beautiful most amazing part of this NDIS support is they not only care about people with disability, but us as parents. They care about us as parents who is raising a disabled child. For example, if I and Darshan, we need to go out on a date, let's say we want to go out on dinner and we don't have anyone to take care of Daxa, we can actually get a worker, care worker from NDIS for 3 hours per week, who would come home, spend time with Daxa, take her out at park, give her a bath, and we can go out and have time for ourselves. And we can also get people to come clean our house. So they provide all that facility, but we don't use that because we don't need that. I can clean my own house, whenever we go for dinner, we take out Daxa. So we don't use that, but that is all you can get from this support, and that's amazing.
So this is not a part of insurance?
It's not insurance. It's called NDIS.
NDIS. It's a different thing.
It's a different thing.
Oh, okay.
That's a disability insurance service the government provides.
Okay. So since Daksha is at Nepal at the moment, how did you reach to that decision that she'll be in Nepal and you guys will be here? And is this are you still getting this facility from the NDIS?
No, because once you are out of the country for 6 months or more, we don't get that anymore. But she's still in that list. When she comes back,
she can get back.
It will get back to her. I'm in constant communication with the people, just updating them that she's staying back and stuff. But the decision to leave her at home, it was not planned at all. The thing was, we went back home last year in August. So we were just planning, I was planning to stay there for 1 month because I had to get back to work. And Darshan and Daxa, they were planning to stay for 3 months because Darshan was not working then, and we just wanted Daxa to spend some more time with our big family, right? So I came back, and within that 3 months, we could just see, all the care and all the support. Because back home, we have so many people. We have carers, we have we can hire maids. We can't afford to hire maids here, right? Family.
There's a whole village there.
The whole village, grandparents, uncles, aunts, so many people around, right? And सबैजना वरिपरि हुँदाखेरि we just found out she was thriving there. And पहिलेदेखि पनि she's very social. She always liked people around her, always very happy around people. And Nepalमा त she just could see so many people and everyone would love her, she's a little kid. So she was thriving. She's getting all that love, care, and attention. I'm being try but we can't.
At the end, we are two
right?
of us at home.
Exactly. And we have to go to work and we can't do that, right? And so we decided maybe let's extend like for 6 months.
Okay.
And let's see, like, if she progresses, and we will decide. And Darshan also extended for 6 months because he just didn't want to leave her, like,
So you were here and Darshan
yes, he was there, and he didn't want to leave, and I didn't want him to leave her because like she would be without a parent, right?
Yeah.
So 6 महिना extend गरेर बस्यो हैन. And then नेपालमा चाहिँ he explored like few therapies and places, like, to get that support for her. And we found out like there are awesome like, physio and speech path back in Nepal, like, they are providing exceptional services there. Ani अर्को कुरा चाहिँ, I think back home, here the difference is, the therapists, they do great work, very good job, but mostly people tick boxes, right? Like they need to do this and that. But back home, maybe cultural thing, like, people just get connected.
It's more
like,
emotionally
it's
as well.
more personal and emotional. Like the therapist, like, they just like the way they care for her, they do like their own. Like, it's very different. And she likes going to the therapies because, like, they hug her, they just like do whatever, and she just feels
it's
like
more comfortable and
very comfortable. Ani therapies also here, like she used to get like 1 day per week for physio, 1 day per week for speech, because the spots, like, it's very hard to get spots. Even though we had fundings, like, it's really hard, like there's no spots out there. But back home, she's going for like the speech therapy is like 3 days a week, and her physio is like 4 to 5 days a week, which means like she's getting like 5 times more care and attention and the therapies than she was getting here. And we started seeing the progress as well. Like her strength is becoming like she's becoming stronger and stronger, and she's becoming more interactive, more bossy, and like she's a brat now, like family,
so much of attention. I can imagine.
And she's thriving, she's so happy, she's like, just living her life. So we just thought, like after us, the only people like we can trust is our parents, right?
True.
And like she's at home with her grandparents, with her uncles, with her aunt, like everyone who love her. And we thought, like, these are the only people we trust after ourselves. Why not? Like, as long as she's happy, she's progressing. It was a tough decision,
sure.
very tough. But I think it's really worth it when you see her thrive, when you see her progress. Like, it is very rewarding at the end of the day.
Okay, so all this physio and everything back home as well, is it expensive, or will it be funded by any organization?
No, there's no funding. It is expensive, but not as much as here. But yeah, it's not as expensive as here, but definitely there is no funding. We are paying out of pocket, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to get back to your postpartum depression. So how did you actually know that you are kind of depressed? Because you decided to go back to work at month 5. So that means you and your husband, you both knew that you were not in a good mental state at the moment. You are getting into depression, so you need to get out of it. So how did you figure out? Because for me, it was easy. Because I'm usually a very social person. I have like good bunch of friends. Like we used to party, like we used to do get together. And the middle of like, once I remember, like we were at this friend's house, like for his birthday or something, everyone was dancing and I was dancing, laughing. And I started crying out loud, like loud. Like people would notice.
I could not control it. Like I didn't know that was coming. And that kind of instance like started to happen, like not very frequently, but I started to get that, like panic attacks, and panic attacks would just lead to my asthma attack. And it was like sometimes like it got scary. And the other thing was like you said, like tik basta basta like you just feel like crying and
you don't know the reason.
रुन मन लाग्ने हैन अनि एक्लै बाहिर अब पहिला पहिला भन्छ बुढाबुढी बाहिर जाउँ न भनेर जस्तो हुन्छ नि त हैन एक्लै निस्किन मन लाग्ने के कोही पनि नचाहिने हुन्छ नि मलाई मी टाइम हुने हैन अनि बच्चालाई बेबी देख्यो भने गिल्टी फिल पनि हुने तर अब when that emotion hits you हैन you can't think of anything so it's so hard to explain but I'm thankful that you know like we realized like that was happening and I'm getting like all the help and support and everything I need and I would say like I'm in much better state of my mind.
Because I think you figured it out on time and especially time when you went back to work as well, okay? So
and it really helped.
I'm
like
sure.
Going back to work and like following my passion, like doing like, you know, my DIYs, like baking.
Yeah. It's like a therapy.
Really, it's my therapy, like, you know, it's my anxiety buster.
Yeah.
Like,
I think with, I would like to give credit to this Darshan Dai for this, because I have kid and I'm getting help but still I feel मैले कति कुरा गर्ने भ्याइरा छैन I have 10 things in my head हैन म यो गर्छु but मैले केही गरेर हुँदैन के but then you guys are not getting any support from your family as a help हैन यहाँ physically but still you are doing your side hustle as well like baking and stuff you are still doing your passion stuff you are doing your self care as well because yesterday I was stalking Darshan Dai ko Facebook हैन अनि सानो सानो कुरा पनि you are doing it so beautifully के like doing the breakfast for anniversary thing like you have some personal touch in everything creative way ke I don't know how you managed to get this all in your head and then you start to you know actually put into action.
I don't know either like I think it's just like I don't know just us maybe you know like and just trying to make it normal day to day and just
it's very sweet gesture for each other as well and then appreciate गर्ने मान्छेले पनि गर्दा it's more sweeter के किनभने मेरो पनि दिमागमा आउँछ म यो गर्छु त्यो गर्छु but at the other day and then it will go by the same day it takes like a lot of time for me to reach to that action to actually action okay I'm trying my best I know but still it takes time okay
I think you know the only thing I can tell you the trick to it is do not plan it never plan anything just go with the flow like sometimes I do plan but most of the times we just do it
and trust your
gut.
True. Only like when you went back to the work, I know, of course it was your choice, but still I'm sure it was like you said, like mom guilt and difficult. Were you still giving her breast milk or?
So there's another mom guilt to it. So like I said, she did not latch, right? So I was pumping like from the very first day. And like I had like good flow of milk, like you know the breast milk like would overflow, so I used to like save it and freeze it and stock it, right? So but in 4 months, after 4 months, you know, after like when I kept on pumping, it just reduced the breast milk, just the quantity just reduced like drastically. So I would say like she would drink like maybe 55 to 60 ml per feed and I would pump for half an hour and I would just be able to get like 5 ml. And you know like pumping is another struggle, like it is so hard because you spend half an hour pumping and then another half an hour washing and cleaning and then sterilizing and in 1 hour there's again like time to pump because we need to pump like every 2 hours and it was draining me. And then after 4 months I came to this point where you know I'm like I was depressed then and I was like I'm pumping like for half an hour every 2 hours and getting 5 ml which is not enough for my baby. Instead of like putting that pressure on myself of like you know like having to pump, I just stopped doing that. And there was a mom guilt to it as well, you know, like I was like 5 ml भयो पनि त मेरो बच्चाले खान पाउँथ्यो हैन तर 5 ml like focus गर्नु भन्दा नि हुन्छ नि अब त्यो प्रेसर त्यो constant like you know like टाइमर लगाउँदै गर्ने everything hustle and bustle like and बच्चालाई टेक केयर गर्ने छुट्टै छ हैन. So I just like stopped doing it. But the good thing is मेरो milk flow यति राम्रो थियो कि I stored enough milk for next few months. So she had it like for next few months. Like my freezer was like full of it.
Yeah, it's the same with me as well actually. 9 months I breastfed him till 2 years. Honestly speaking, not for him, for myself, because मलाई एकदमै दुख्थ्यो कि यस्तो दुख्थ्यो अनि I had to go to office हैन यहाँबाट 1 घण्टा लाग्छ commute time. So 6:30 मा ट्रेन समात्नु पर्थ्यो. I used to wake up at 5 o'clock, half an hour pump गर. त्यसको लागि I was struggling हैन, but still मलाई त अफिसमा गएर पम्प गर्नु भन्दा त म घरमै गरेर जान्छु नि आउने बित्तिकै गर्छु नि. It used to hurt so bad. त्यति बेला मैले आफ्नो गर्लफ्रेन्ड्सहरुलाई यति सोधे like how can I get rid of this pain भनेर हुन्छ नि. तर उलाई भन्दा नि मैले आफ्नो लागि नै गरे जस्तो हो के यो चाहिँ है. And I stored and it was he was using it for so long.
Yeah. मेरो पनि त्यही हो. मलाई अब 5 ml pump गरेर it's like next to nothing, but अब अर्को पर्सपेक्टिभबाट हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ 5 ml अब mom's milk भनेको त फेरि अब अमृत हैन.
Of course, that's what we are told.
अनि त्यो अब छुट्टै हुन्छ क्या मम गिल त्यो पनि भयो भनौँ न.
True. So we'll just go to the next segment. I know it's just like a Q&A or kind of a fill in the gap kind of thing. I know. So I'll just ask you a few questions. You just answered me in a quick. I would rather be a good mom than a good gap.
I would choose to be a mom than I think a better human being. I would definitely want to be known as the best mother than a good human being.
So which one was harder for you, pregnancy journey or postpartum journey?
So as we discussed throughout this session, like challenges like postpartum, like and during pregnancy there are challenges, and there's a beautiful aspect of both. So I can't actually say like this or that because I enjoyed both phases and I faced challenges in both phases.
Yeah, it's like a challenge comes with a reward, like we discussed before.
Exactly.
True. Yeah. And do you have any like a nicest comment or advice you received during the pregnancy or postpartum journey?
Comments I received a lot, good or bad. But I still remember, like I'm a part of this, like a lot of Facebook moms group, like moms of special
This is so
kids,
important.
and like people with like same condition as Daxa. So once, like I used to write posts in there whenever I was like anxious, I used to write like, and then they used to come for my support, right? And once one of the moms wrote to me and she said like, expect nothing and embrace everything. So from that day, like for me and Darshan, like it's just been the motto of our life. Like we just don't expect anything. We just go one day at a time, and whatever like comes like back to us, like we just embrace it. And the milestone, like people talk about milestone and such, like we don't set any milestone for Daxa, and we came up with this new term called inch stone. So we do not care about miles, like it's far away. Inch stone, every little bit of things that she does or achieves, that's success for us. Like that's an achievement, and we just celebrate that.
I think it's with every parent, honestly.
Exactly.
Everything they do differently. It's
a celebration,
think exactly,
right? It's a celebration.
Exactly, that's true. And if you want to talk about any unwanted comment you've received.
So as we discussed before, I think it's a cultural thing as well. Like back home, like people think that it's their moral responsibility to give their opinions and their judgment, pass around their judgments, right? So I won't say a nasty comment, but the way people comment on like why you are like making a puree, like just give her like give the food to her and she will eat it, and why are you like just being very protective about her, because she only understands the language of love, right? And she does not understand what's right or wrong, what's the do's and don't do's, like she doesn't know. So I would be really protective like on having like things around her, because if she gets hold of like tiny bits and pieces of things, she would just put it in her mouth and like anything could happen, right? So I would be extra cautious around it, and people would say like, just being too fussy, like, just let them be kids. I'm letting her be kid, but I need to be mindful of, like the hazards, the potential hazards that might come. So yeah, you get that all the time.
True. We just need to ignore and
100%.
So describe in 3 words for Daksha.
3 words. Beautiful, bossy, just very bossy, and very pure, I would say, because I I just try to see everything in a positive way because of her condition. I'm just so glad that she would never have to, feel the emotions like anger or jealousy or, fear, because she doesn't know all that emotions, right? She's just so pure because she
Yeah.
only knows one language. She only knows love. Like, she only knows people around her. And I just feel like every time I see her, like, I just see that pure girl of mine. So I think that would be a perfect word to describe
Yeah,
her.
pure is beautiful word. Yeah. So we are at the end of our podcast. So is there anything more you want to share about your motherhood journey? Have I missed out anything?
I think we discussed pretty much everything, but all I want to say is, like, people always ask, like, how do you manage it? Like, what's the mom hack, or, how, like, but I just want to say there's nothing called mom hack, or there's no handbook to motherhood or parenthood, right? And you can't learn how to be a good mother, good parent by watching a video or, like, reading some article. The biggest teacher is your own child. When they come into your life, they teach you. And that's how you learn to become a parent. Like, that's when the journey starts. So, as I said, do not expect anything from your kid. Just embrace everything. And maybe just celebrate small successes, like small achievements. And you got a baby in your lap. Doesn't matter if they have any condition or not, you got a baby. And we know a lot of people, like, they desperately want babies, right? And we are the chosen ones because we are parents, and that's a blessing, because once they come into our life changes. Like, the world becomes more beautiful, right? So just soak it all in, like, whilst you can, and just try and give them best of everything that you can. Like, for me, things might be different. Like, the things I want to give Daxa might be different to the things that you want to give to Summer and Sia, right? But at the end of the day, we all are parents.
Yeah.
And we all want best for our kids.
100%.
So just don't beat yourself too hard, like, everyone does amazing as a parent. There's no such thing as good parent or bad parent. You are just a parent.
True. That's 100% true. Yeah. And I think we covered up pretty much everything, but still at the end, do you have any advice or suggestion for the new mom who are trying to be a parent or who are parent to a toddler? Is there any suggestion you want to give to our listeners?
The only thing I want to say is, do not beat yourself too hard. If you are planning, it will take some time. Like, just don't be tough on yourself and go with the flow. And if you are a parent to a special, like, disabled kid, that's fine, that's normal. And I just want to say out to the world, like, let's not be scared to use word disabled, because people usually define disabled as opposite to be able, but it's completely different thing. Having a disability does not mean that you are not able to do anything. Having a disability means you might take some extra time or support or care to do things the other people are doing, that people of the same age are doing, right? So let's not differentiate that. Just treat everyone as normal, because at the end of the day, like I said, we all are parents. And as you say, the struggle is real for you, for me, and for every parent out there. So just be easy on yourself, and your kid is your own teacher. They will teach you, like, throughout your parenthood phase. So just leave it with them, leave it on time, and time will teach everything.
Yeah, we all are learning.
Oh, always. Always.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing your experiences. I'm sure it will be useful for many of us and inspiring as well. So just want to thank you so much.
Thanks to you. I think I just really needed this opportunity to, bring it out to the world. And I'm just grateful to you that you gave me this platform where I could come and talk about it. And what else? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you.